Hey there, everybody. Welcome back with the Plat. Purplatypus is the name, and welcome to another Unicorn Overlord video. Today, I'm going to show you how I went through the second stage of arena battles. I just finished them tonight, and I used the same team for every single fight, with the exception of one of them, actually only about halfway up. So I'll kind of show you. I'll go a little bit slower through this one because I did use a team, and I'll give you a little bit of examples of the kind of things you might need to switch around, because sometimes you'll have to do a little bit of manipulation, but this will get you through it, this team here. But first, as always, thank you to the members, the supporters, the fans. Thank you very much for supporting the Plat. I appreciate it. You guys make it more fun, and when you're playing video games, what else more do you want other than more fun? So let's take a look at my unit details here. So this is the team we're using. We're using Elaine, High Lord. I'm using a Wyvern Master. I'm using a Warlock, a Snow Ranger, and a Bishop. The Snow Ranger you get from the Northern Continent. Probably one of the best, if not the best characters in the game. So I can kind of go over, I'm going to go over the idea of the team, and then we'll look at each character specifically what they do. So as far as what the idea is that the Snow Ranger has a built-in giant, insanely powerful, basically they have the Dragoon's War Spear, the Dragon Drive, but it's even more powerful, and it has freeze built into it already. It's called Glacial Rain, so it's already built in. Has a lower hit rate, but it basically does an insane amount of damage and freezes them. The hit rate doesn't matter because we are going to be using Eagle Eye to make sure that that actually lands. So the idea is we're using Quick Impetus to basically instantly hit them with Glacial Rain, while also using, now that we don't need to freeze them, we're using the Thunder Tome instead, which will add stun to the attack, so they'll be frozen and stunned, meaning even when they unfreeze, they're still going to be stunned. So you're basically locking them away for an extra turn beyond that. So you freeze them, they skip their turn, you hit them again, they unfreeze, but they're still stunned, so they still miss another action. So, but to help us really, once they're stunned or frozen, we basically also do the Dragoon Drive, and we have a second Quick Impetus here. However, this will sometimes change. I do like this guy going first because that will cause the Warlock to give him so he'll stun everybody instead of freezing them. But then if they're all stunned, it'll give her an opportunity to go, and then she'll freeze them again, and then you could do the whole thing a second time. Now, this isn't super consistent because the main reason we're using Elaine is sometimes we're going to have to do Rapid Order and Tailwind in order to make sure that we're faster than all the enemies, and that we're outpacing them. And the only other thing is sometimes we are going to be using Hastened Action, which is from the Lips Ring. I honestly don't remember where to get the Lips Ring. That's something I need to keep track of, where I get these items. It's going to be later in the game. It was one of the, I remember. It's the temples. It's the temples around. Let's see if I could take a look right here. Actually, the Lips Ring is where I got down here, but you could also use a witch instead if you need to, but it was like right down here. I think it was this island right here. It was the Lips Ring that I got. So that basically allows us to use the witch's passive to instantly get make a character have max initiative for their first action of combat, right? It has to be an ally. It can't be themselves, but you get max initiative for their next combat. I have them targeting the archer. That way she can go first. I originally was having her do it on herself, but she will not target herself. So you have to put it on a different character, and everyone else is using their PP besides this character. So he could use it. You could just get rid of Aerial Ring. So that's the idea. Let's go over each character in a little bit more detail. We'll go top left, and just kind of go like we're reading a book. So Warlock. The most important thing here for the Warlock is basically going to be the Dove Plume, so you're a little bit faster because my Warlock is incredibly slow. It doesn't have to be the Warlock, but I found a lot of good luck with the Warlock. The Thunderbrand Tome, this is what's really good. It adds stun. This combined with freeze is just insane. It makes enemies lose their turns forever, basically. It feels like they're just out of combat. Now, outside of that, there are a few fights you're going to want some freeze immunity or you're going to want some debuff immunity, so I have a couple of these things here. But for the most part, his equipment doesn't matter outside of the tome. Now, I like using Thunderous Strike. You can see he has Thunderous Strike, Volcano, Fireball. Thunderous Strike, if he does get a chance to go, or enemies have some sort of like debuff, like resistance for a thing, like this will just stun them. It does good damage, and it'll stun the enemies. But if you really, really need more damage, Fireball can be used, but I don't typically worry about that. Thunderous Strike is pretty good. But he's really here to be able to do this ideally twice. It doesn't have to be twice. It does add a little bit of damage, but you can see I basically put on the Woolly Mittens instead because I needed something to keep him from getting tanked down. And I just have something that makes him a little more defensive here. The HP defense, magic defense. So for our main character here, I am using this bow. I got this bow as well from the area, basically, that, you know, the same way I got the lips ring. There's like these temples around. Once you get the owl lady to join your party, you can go do those fights. They weren't very hard. I got them no problem. And so I got this now. Very good bow, but you could basically use any bow that's going to be pretty powerful. Maybe even have something that just does more, you know, crit rate or something. You're not going to find something that does quite as much damage, but you could just find something else that's pretty much as good. Even if it's not exactly as good. So the idea is damage. We got Lionheart here. You get that from the lion guy. Again, this is just damage. The accuracy is irrelevant. I could be using the hero's pendant, but I'm using it on a different character over here, which might be a mistake. I don't know. But then we got the Warrior's Medallion, Lionheart, and the Holy Unicorn Signet is basically just because I was getting debuffed by ice, and I just figured I wanted this on her so she couldn't worry about that. So you will need, at least for this team, I needed some sort of ice resistance because they try to cheese you back. We've got Sharon here. Sharon has got the black cat ear hood for the quick impetus. That's basically her whole job. So she's going to quick impetus, and limited heal is very good. Not only does this help you win because you have to win by a percentage, it also just like makes it so your characters don't die that much because they have tons more max HP. So her initiative is pretty slow, but it doesn't matter because this is a passive that triggers as a response to our faster character. And limited heal, sorry, it's been a long day. Limited heal is just pretty good, but she's basically here for this. And then limited heal is good. But anyone can wear the black cat ear hood. You don't need to do this. I just like having the healing. If there's a different character with a different action that you want them to use instead, you absolutely could do that. I mean, you could even use a shaman, right, to debuff their defense or debuff their offense, or to, you know, basically do that kind of stuff. Then we got Elaine. Elaine, again, isn't necessarily the most important character. The main reason he's here is because he's got the cover, he's got the noble guard. He's very tanky and he's good defensively. So yeah, you don't have to worry about him dying. But beyond that, he can and he can cover for other people. Rapid order is very good. You could, if you're using this guy here, you could use Dragon's Roar, but that's double the initiative, and they're basically the same effect. So I typically like Rapid Order. Rapid Order is also a little bit better because there's a lot of owl enemies that will dispel your shit. Like, they'll dispel your buffs. And if you do Rapid Order, it'll automatically trigger one time on a lane at the start of the fight. So you have one less time to worry about the order of that kind of stuff. Tailwind is basically to double down on that. Elaine is pretty much always going first. On top of Lean Edge being decent for healing sometimes, Spinning Edge just does a good amount of damage. Elaine is just pretty good, but he's mostly here because we need someone to use quick impetus. We don't need it, but this is the strategy I went with. And then we got Rapid Order Tailwind or cover, depending on the fight. Very flexible. And then we've got our second damage dealer here. Now, you could switch this out for something else to give you more PP if you want, to give you more damage. I went with the Lips Ring because there are some fights where hasted action is going to be super important to outspeed the enemy on a very, like, one fight specifically. And in another fight, in many of the fights, it's just going to make it way easier because you go first, they don't ever get a turn. But we're not really using any of their stuff here, right? We're just using Dragoon Drive. I only have Diving Thrust on because in case something happens and he doesn't actually, I have to use Rapid Order, then he'll have 1 PP left because the Quick Impetus also gives an AP, so he would Dragoon Drive twice. But sometimes he's going to want to use Diving Thrust because he's not going to get the thing. Haste in action is sometimes super important. It's very powerful, but if you don't need it, Aerial Wing will give you True Strike and bonus damage. One thing worth noting here is that on the Glacial Rain, we also do have Eagle Eye. So yeah, that was the overall strategy, right? We're doing the AoE freeze with a stun attached to it, and then we're doing another AoE attack with another stun attached to it, and then we're doing it again, you know, another freeze, another stun. We got good heal. Our attacks are pretty much instant, and this is the strategy that I used. So there is one specific fight where I could not use this team. Every other team I did it, and it worked just fine. However, if we come down to number, I think it's number 10 here. This is the one fight I couldn't do because of she has quick cast. So at the start of battle, she makes it so her max initiative, she gets max initiative, which is, in a sense, it's okay. It's fine because we could do the same thing, but they have the owl, which instantly takes it off of you. Now, the owl is around in several of these fights, but that's the only one where it's actually the most brutal. It's actually, it kind of counters what I'm doing. So I actually did, this is the one I had to take a lane out, and I put in a Radiant Knight instead, and I just had them do a magic cover for the back row because she's going to AoE freeze them. She tries to AoE freeze the whole row, and so I just do basically, I made my characters immune to freeze, but I also just added the Radiant Knight to increase their survivability there. The other fight that is kind of similar to that, but it's actually quite a bit different, is this one. They have the hastened action as well, but you don't actually have to worry about it as much because they don't have an owl to dispel you. So if you use haste action first, you're going to go first because this character's initiative is only 21. So as long as you have more than 21 initiative, the normal rules will apply. So let's kind of give an idea of how it works on the Lord of Fevrith. I hope I didn't mess with anything here. I did click around a little bit, but let's take a look really quick. Quick impetus, hastened action, eagle eye, quick impetus, thundering. Okay. I don't think you need the woolly mittens for this one. So I'm going to turn this off, and I'm just going to put on the PP thing. I shouldn't change anything because I'm going to fuck something up, and then the video is going to be fucked up forever. Oh, sorry. Let's just go down. Let's put the... Yeah, I'll admit that's pretty crazy. All right. So let's try this out. Let's see how it works. Hopefully it works this time. I'll be super pissed if it doesn't. But, you know, here we are. Yes. Okay. So we Dragon's Roars, but our initiative is irrelevant because you're going to hasten action our Archer. Our Archer is going to Glacial Rain, get an instant boost to go again. You're also going to get a guaranteed crit, and you're going to get a guaranteed hit, crit, not a crit. And then you're going to get guaranteed stun. You hit everybody. They're already almost dead. You're going to Spinning Edge. This is the one of the few fights that I think we actually don't kill them all because of how strong the main guy is. He did miss. He doesn't have to miss, but unless I don't think he's guaranteed. But I think he missed last time too. But I've done this about 4 times now just to make sure it was relatively consistent. So we did the impetus thing again, and you see Dragoon Drive. We got the instant boost. We get to stun them again. He's got immunity to stun, apparently, so it's not as important. Bastard Cross is going to kill us. Absolutely. It's just incredibly powerful. And so he's going to kill another character. Thunderous Strike. You could switch this out for Fireball here, and so you get more attacks if you really want to kill this guy. But that's not super important. But yeah, we get ourselves a big heal. You're going to Glacial Rain, but it's not instant at this point. And then we're Dragoon Driving. He is going to Bastard Cross and take us out with a guaranteed hit. Boom, boom. 400 damage. You know, what are you going to do about that? But the rest of his team is dead. We have another guaranteed hit. And he doesn't even take that much damage. As you can see, this guy's got absolutely jacked stats. But we are going to pull through and win the fight just from a team-to-team standpoint. So that's that fight. Let me take a look if I can find another example here of like a fight where I have to switch some stuff around. There were just some fights, let's see if maybe it was number 3, where they were just like really fast. This is a perfect fight right here because they're not really fast, but this is one of the fights at number 4. If you come here and just do the exact strategy that we just did to win, you're going to lose. Because the owl is going to remove your thing, right? You're going to hasten action, and the owl comes in and goes boop, and then one thing leads to another. We're going to skip the battle, and we're going to end up winning. Okay, never mind. But you get the idea. Obviously, I had it set up, all right, where it worked. But I had those fights where I did lose because once you use the hastened action, it would immediately get removed by the owls, and then you would go on to lose the fight because their characters were faster. So in that's a kind of situation where you would probably turn off the hastened action, and then you would instead turn on the rapid order and tailwind if you need yourself to be fast. Or if for some reason they are slow and 42 is fast enough with where it's at right here, you could even remove like a hero's medallion probably and do something like that to get your character more speed, because he is going to add stun to his attack. But let's say you don't need any of these, you could just turn, keep them all off, turn that off too. And then if 42 is enough to outspeed him, then you're absolutely going to be set already. So those are kind of the manipulations you'll have to make. And again, for fight number 10, all I did is I took a lane like this and I did this. And so I gave up on the impetus action and I had the radiant cover instead. Before allies are attacked in the back row, you give them a medium guard, and it makes the next out. I'm sorry, not this one. You're going to do the row barrier. That's the one you're going to do. So you can even see she still has the stuff on. Let's actually see if we can get an example of that fight right here, because I'm just nervous because I'm afraid I'm going to lose it both times. The first time I'm supposed to, the second time I'm not supposed to. But let's say they're going to go first, right? That's just the way this one works because they have the thing. But let's try to counter it by making sure we go first because our initiative is higher, just like in the other fight. But this is the one where it isn't going to matter. We're going to get owned. So we're going to have to do something else here. But let's go ahead and take a look here. So we hastened action, but the owl comes in and dispels it. However, this character is quick cast, and now they're going to use ice coffin. So I didn't have all the ice resistant stuff the first time, but now like our main damage dealer is dead. And one thing is going to lead to another. Like, it's already bad. The Dragoon Drive might work if we switch the impetus to switch it to a different character. So like, there's a chance this could work actually if we had the if we had Sharon switch, so because we had a chance to attack there. But the point is, like, this one doesn't quite work like this. You would have to change some stuff around. But I think if I just go like this, I think if I just do this and everything else is exactly the same except for this, we turn this off. I might use a Dragon's Roar instead, because then we have at least one start a fight going, right? Yeah. And then row barrier is going to be important. Okay, let's try this. I don't know if this is going to work. I think so. I think this is what I did. But this is the point of kind of trying to make a guide. It's hard to go over. There's 30 fights. I'm not going to do a video for each one. So they got some initiative down. Quick cast. You're going to ice cough in the back. You did the wrong ability. Hold up. Sorry. Let me edit this out. Or not. We'll see. We went from number 1 to number 1. Fuck. Screw us. All right, let's do this. Exact same thing as we did before. We're just going to not be dumb. There we go. I get Radiant Cover and Row Barrier mixed up. I think I read them, and then I just read them in reverse in my mind. So let's go ahead and do that. I just had to switch those gambits really quick because I had them reversed. So same exact thing, right? Dragon's Roar, you're going to quick cast, and you're going to cast Ice Coffin, right? But now you're going to Row Barrier, so now they're immune to affliction and damage. So that's huge. So Dragon Drive is likely not even going to do that good. But let's take a look here. They're not going to get a chance to heal. Let's take a look if we actually get our quick impetus. We don't get our quick impetus. We might want to have him target the back row. Oh, he lived. Oh, the limited heals coming in. Okay. I'm trying to see if this is what I did. I think I skipped it the first time. So there we go. We did get the AoE. They're all stunned. Glacial Rain is going. Gonna freeze them and stun them. And they're all dead. Okay. So you can see there, that was a fight where I just saw, when I watched it one time, I saw that I was getting frozen in the back. And I decided, all right, let's just switch in a Radiant Knight to tank that one hit, because that seems to be what their whole team is built around. And that worked just fine. And then I went back to this for all the other 29 fights. So that is the idea of the team. As far as specific items to highlight again, which ones are important? The Thunderbrand Tome for the Warlock. None of the items are necessarily specifically important on the Snow Ranger, but the Unifi Snow Ranger is super important to this specific strat. Otherwise, you kind of got to change a lot. But the fact that she has a freeze built into her Glacial Rain is huge. The Holy Unicorn Signet, which you'll get later, is also really good. The Black Cat Ear Hood. I like the Precious Rod. The Dragoon's War Spear. The Lips Ring is super important. Super important for this. And then the you don't need the Holy Unicorn Blade, just the white Cat Ear Hood. Although the Holy Unicorn Blade is obviously great. Anyway, guys, that's going to be it for today. Much love. Hopefully this helps you out to get through the arena and get yourself your Onyx Pendant and just a bunch of free stuff as well. And now that we're here, we can also, we can always grind more. Well, let's go take a look. Let's go take a look right here at our consolation prize. I don't even have enough to buy any of this shit yet. All right, well, whatever. I don't know what of these I'm going to buy, actually, anyway. I already bought that one. Maybe a ruby pendant. I probably want one of these, don't I? The base AP, not the sword, but maybe the Scarlet Crest Shield. That seems so good. That with the sword is automatically 2 without anything else. But we'll figure it out. Anyway, guys, that's it. Thank you so much. Purplatypus is Purplatypus. Bye.